Continuing Mishlei Perek Zayin, Pasuk Chavet, talking about unfortunately this man that's sinning. We're learning from here a lot of examples. Holech acharei pitom, he goes after her very suddenly. Keshor el tevach yavo, but he doesn't realize he is like an ox that's going to get slaughtered. Ucheches el musar evil, like a snake that's rushing to rebuke the fool. The next pasuk, ad yifala chetz kevedo, until arrows pierce his liver. Kemaher tzipor el pach, like a bird that's running to the trap, it's flying to a trap. Velo yada ki benafshohu, and he doesn't know that there he's going to be dying. So this is again on the general terms. This person's going to sin, and he thinks that something good over here, things that this is unfortunately where he's dying. So the first thing is he goes after her pitom suddenly. He goes after her. He's so enthralled. He's so into it. He's so lost from the right path that he goes and he doesn't think. And even if he does think, pitom means suddenly, because we said last time, she's telling him, "Don't worry, you'll do teshuvah later." He says, "Okay, pitom." He'll just go and do it, and he'll say, "Oh, I'll just take care of teshuvah later." But he doesn't realize, like an ox that's going to get slaughtered, that this is his time of death. From here, the Gaon of Vilna says we learn the 4 stages after when a person passes away. We learn from here the connection to the 4 stages. First stage is actual death. Second stage is called chibut kever, that there is spiritually, once when a person's put into the kever, we're going to see beatings from different malachim because of our averot. And there's kafakela, which is kind of you're thrown around, also in a bad form until you go to Gehinam, and then you get cleansed and go to Gan Eden. And the 4th stage is Gehinam. So he says as follows. The first is Keneged Mita, where the pasuk says, Holech acharei pitom, he goes after her. So too, sometimes a person is going in life, and he doesn't realize that all of a sudden a death could come to him very, very suddenly. Sometimes death comes very suddenly, unexpected. He's in the middle of going in his life. And therefore, we have to try to do teshuvah every day, to try to go in our days every day with teshuvah, to make sure that, that when that time comes, our neshama is ready. The next is when he says over here, like a snake is rushing to rebuke the fool, that is the punishment of chibut kever. And he says here, v'soref oto ke'eres hanachash, that it burns him like the venom of a snake. It kol ever ve'ever shenehene ba'olam hazeh shelo b'mitzvah. Every single limb of our body that benefited in this world, not through mitzvah, there's going to be punishment at that time. And then ad yifalech chetz kevedo, until the arrow pierces our liver. That is kafakela, shezorkim oto mimakom lemakom, that he's thrown from place to place. Umalachei chabala zorkim oto chitzim, and the malachim of punishment, they throw arrows at him. Uklavim ochlim oto, and dogs eat him. The Gaon of Vilna was also very deep in the Zohar. The last is kemaher tzipor el pach, like a bird quickly going to the trap. He thinks there's food here, but then he gets trapped. So too, as we say in Pirkei Avot, ve'al yiftecha yitzrecha she'asha'ol bet manos lach. Don't let the Yetzer Hara convince you to rely on him, because Sheol, which is another word for Gehinam, you think that is a place of refuge, but it's not. So he says over here that when a person passes, actually the more difficult Yisurim is from the time of passing until Gehinam. That's the most difficult Yisurim, and then it gets lighter in Gehinam, and then you're clean, then you go to Gan Eden. So when you're in those stages before Gehinam, you want to run to Gehinam to say, like, let me get out of this already. This is so difficult. Chibut kever and kafakela. Let me run to Gehinam. And you think that you're running to somewhere good, but it's still bad, right? But he says here, but it's still better, but it's still bad. And he says, interesting thing, that chibut kever and kafakela is yisurim on our body, physical body, and Gehinam is yisurim on our neshama. And then we're fully clean to go to Gan Eden. We have to do teshuvah. That's the main thing. We have to do teshuvah, Bezrat Hashem. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen. Amen. Chazak u'baruch. Have a good day, everyone.